Today we are going to be creating this cute Christmas tree made out of acrylic yarn in different weights and some beads. Now all of these things were already in my stash, and that's what the challenge is today, is to be using things that you already have and not having to go out and buy them. Hi, I'm Diana, and I created this channel as a way for my friends all across the country to learn how to crochet. So if you've landed on this channel, hello, welcome. You are a new friend. If you're returning, thank you. Today we are going to be talking about a cute little tree that can be used in so many ways. It can be reused as a decoration for a package. It can be used as a Christmas decoration or whatever you think. And this is actually a jumping off point. So your creation is going to look different than mine because you're going to be using what's in your stash. So I would love to see your creations. So if you create them and you have social media and you're on Instagram, please tag me. If you would like to see more tutorials and reviews and vlogs and that kind of stuff, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. It really does help my channel to grow, and it does help other makers like you see my channel. So let's get started. You are going to chain 182 chains. So let's get going. I like to count in 50s. I don't know why, but it seems to help my brain function better if I do that. So now I'm at 10. There's 50. There's 50, so that makes 100. Now I'm going to do 82 more. 50, now 32 more. All right, now you have 182 in your chain. You're gonna go the second chain from the hook. So you've got one that's right next to it, and then two, and you're gonna do a half double crochet. So that's a yarn over, put your hook in that loop, and there you go. We're gonna do yarn over in the next. There we go. And you're just gonna do all of that all the way down until you hit the end. So let's get going. Now that you're at the end, and just continue around to the other side. So working another half double crochet, you just kind of turn it in that same hole that you were before, the last one, and you will continue all the way up to the top. You can see that it kind of looks twisted. So you're going to work, and I like to work my end underneath right there, and it just works in, and you don't have to cut off or tie off or anything like that. So I'm just going to do another half double crochet all the way down. And we're going to work a slip stitch into the first half double crochet top right here of the first one we did. So now we're just going to do a slip stitch and then tie it off. Okay, now I'm going to take my darning needle and that's the back side. So I'm going to work this into the back side here. Just right through here. And then I'm going to trim off the excess. Remember how we worked that other end in right there? That's sticking out. I'm going to just trim that real close because that for me is going to be annoying. A little bit tricky. With your ruler, you are going to take your piece that you just created and you are going to create your tree. So I like to set your strip down so that it is about 4 inches. And then you're gonna fold this back up on itself so that this is the same size. Okay, and then the next row, you're gonna go just a little bit shorter. All right, and then this next twist is going to be the same size. All right, and then the next row, see how you've got one set together, 2 set together. Now we're going to go on the 3rd set together, and it's going to be a little bit shorter. So you keep doing that all the way up to the top. Okay, don't get all serious about this because remember, this is handmade. This is a creation of yours. You don't need to stress. Okay. Now, so it's going to end up looking like kind of like a tree. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and this little bit on the top. So it looks kind of like a tree. Now with your beads, we're going to do the red on the bottom, the silver, the red, the silver, the red, the silver, the red, and we're going to end with silver on the top, kind of like a star. Now you could do this with wood beads. I just happen to have these on hand and I am currently on a spending strike. So I'm using the crafting items that I have on hand, and so that's why I went ahead and did these beads. I found these beads at Hobby Lobby and they were all mixed in together, and being me, I divide them all out into their own little things. And they have other colors too, but these are the colors that I chose to work with today. Now I am going to take my needle and I'm going to thread up through the middle and fasten these beads on. I'm going to take my yarn, 36 inches. I think that should be sufficient. 1, 2, 3. I thread this through with my needle. My first. All right, we're gonna go through there, through, pull it all the way through. And kind of, I'm gonna pull my needle off just for a second and I'm gonna tie a knot. Just to give it a little bit more stability. Square knot, the right over left. Left over right is a square knot, so if you didn't know that, there you now know it. So you're going to just trim the tail just a little bit closer. Okay. So now it's going to look like that. All right, now we are going to thread. Put your ruler side, you're going to thread your yarn again. And trying to stay in the center of your work, in your shape, you're going to now assemble your tree. So that one's your first one. Now remember, we're going to put the silver one next. So just thread it on there. And through the middle, you are going to do the same thing. Just thread it up through. All right, now we're going to take a red one and thread it through the needle. You want to make sure that your needle actually fits through whichever you decide to use. Bead, wooden bead, plastic bead. All right. Oops. Once that happens. Now we're going to take, you notice that I'm taking and keeping the two together as we go up. All right, so my next bead is going to be silver. Now, next one is going to be red. Silver. Through the center. Red. And through the center. You can pull that tight, like that. Or loosen up, whatever you want to do. And then we're going to put silver on the top, like a star. And now what I'm going to do is I am going to work down under this to fasten this a little bit tighter to kind of create a knot. So I'm going to just, I don't know if you can see this, underneath, sew it underneath the ball into the stitches underneath. So I'm going to grab these stitches underneath like this and pull it tight. So that cinches the ball down on the top a little bit. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to work this up through the hole again. And create a little more stability. Get those out of the way. Now we want to create a loop. And now you're going to take this top piece right here and see how you have a bit of a tail. You're going to measure about, that's about 4 inches. And you're going to take this piece right here and you are going to work this over my fingers. I'm going to tie a knot. So keeping it pinched, I am creating a knot and I want it to be right next to the bead on the top. So I'm going to pull that down. So that's right next to the bead on the top, if you can see. There's my knot. Now, with my excess yarn, I'm going to work it. So I'm working it back down through my bead, like that, down through the second bead and come underneath the layer of the red. And then I can tie it off underneath here, over here. So I'm just gonna like weave it back and forth in this row right here. Tie off. Create a knot. And then I'm going to just trim that. So you can't really see it. So that looks pretty good. Okay, there is your Christmas tree. And with this Christmas tree, you can make it for, you know, decoration of your Christmas tree, or you could put it on packages, or you could put a little note on it. There's lots of different cute things that you can do with this inexpensive, your stash bustin' Christmas tree, right? I think it turned out pretty cute. You can do this with all sorts of colors, all sorts of weights of yarn. This was acrylic yarn. You can use cotton yarn. Just have fun with it. Okay, I am trying not to get bugged by a fly. It keeps flying in here and I don't like flies. Okay, today we are going to be creating this cute little tree, and it is a stash busting creation, meaning you can use stuff from your stash. Currently, I'm trying not to spend any more money on things that I don't need. Did I say that out loud? I maybe did.